Good evening, guys. Me Josiah again. Trying, wake up, take a shower, and coming out to you on my pad here in Las Vegas. Now, what's my nightly word of knowledge for the night? Racism. People, we call us that. My experience with racism. In looking at me like that, I'm a man of color. Okay, so did I experience racism in my life? Yeah, I did that, but it's not as bad. As bad as before. Okay, it's not like in the 50s or 60s. That okay, I grew up in 80s America or in early 90s America. Well, the difference between right now and back then, we call this that our culture right now is more diversified. Okay, we still have more white Americans population that over here in America, and followed by the minorities. But back then, that is more. It was the reverse. We call it the majority were Americans were white Americans back then. So I lived in their world. America of the Ronald Reagan and the Bush and Clinton era. Clinton era was the time when everybody started veering off like that. More educated people are now in the market. And more educated people right now were going to society because by my generation. Okay, so my experience is this. Okay, did I hear the N word? Of course, two times. Okay, I was backing down the road, and my caller said that we call somebody called me. And I know on my mountain bike. Okay, one Jeep passed by. N word. What was that? You N word. Ignored it. The next car comes by. Hey, what's up? Fat piece of like Eh, did I take that word to that internally? Yeah, I was hurt a little bit, but you know what? The rest of the day, I'm biking. I know. There's some people out there that would hate that in their heart, and that's sad. Okay, I want to. And if you notice one thing about Americans, they're not very, very worldly. When I attended an American high school here in America, okay, I've been to Japan. I've been to California. I lived in the Philippines. Like all this, I traveled a lot. Because my dad was a executive for Goodyear back then. Then and settled in Chicago. And here's the sad and the funny thing is about this, okay? Our school back then was all white. But the next minority group, bigger than the blacks or Asians and Hispanics, were Indians. So I went to school with a lot of Patels. Kind of weird, huh? But you see, my yearbook right now will be all Patels. And it would be, and that's the thing with that, and because also the experience racism, okay, because it's just back then that because remember one thing, people back then that didn't travel, okay, you won't know, they won't know to better than that if it hit them in the face. Just joking, okay, because they weren't exposed to things like that. But the nice thing being Filipino like that, Filipinos are everywhere, okay, and Mexicans also are everywhere. And I noticed one thing about Filipinos and Mexicans, they open, they invite you to their parties, okay, and Americans they invite Americans too, okay. Well back then white parties did that, we call us that, we see in the 16 Candles on the movies or movies of Johnny Hughes back then. They're all white and small particles of minorities because people back then that tend to invite people that they have something in common to. Yeah, I don't know, and I decided not to attend those parties because the reason is this: A, I'm a loner, and B, like that most of those parties are not fun. Either you get drunk, and back then I love food. There's no food. There's no food on the table. Go to a Mexican party, to a Filipino party. There's food on the table all the time, and that's the thing. Yeah, when I was in my first job, in a corporate job. Oh man, everybody in there that were white. Okay, so I get the looks, the things like that. Even some guys coughed at me beside me in the stall like that when I was inside the toilet. Like cough, 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 like trying to distract me. I was thinking, you know, what call this? I just laughed it off. Sooner or later that because using my charm, a smile, I won them over. And but do I condemn them for being racist? No, that's what they grew up with. As my mom says, and my dad says also. People are people are stupid. Okay, you just have to do this. Okay? Racism, racism, in my opinion, is all around the world. There's class racism. There's we call it in the Philippines that okay, either you're rich or not. If you're not rich, that they'll discriminate you. When you're poor. Okay, or which town you belong to. Okay, and we all look alike in the Philippines, homogeneous country, but everybody that has their own. If you're in a certain town, they don't like you. Is a solution for racism? Yeah, it's called being around people, and we call this that and also that is this and that. Okay, do not we call this that. Do not watch media. Okay, so the media will portray anybody or race that in one shade of light. Okay, based on your experience. Okay, that's the thing. Based on your experience, people's action, you based on experience. If you go with that, you'll go a long way. Does it stop you? No. If they don't like you, they let's say you're out in the application, they give you the application back, they say we can hire you. Go move to another place. There's other places out there hiring, and just say this, hey, fuck them. I mean, sorry. Yeah. If they f them, if they don't like you, move to another spot. We call this go where you're wanted. Okay. When I was, I'll tell you a little bit of, a little bit of a little story. Okay, this is the guide you over, guys. Okay, back then, I was single. I'm single right now. Back then, I used to go to two restaurants, Twin Peaks in what I call it in Naperville, and Schomburg Tilted Kilt. What's the difference with these two places? Okay, Tilted Kilt had beautiful ladies. Twin Peaks have more pretty ladies. They're more prettier, more in shape. What's the difference between the two places? Experience. When I went to Tilted Kilt, they were smiling. Hey, how you doing there? And because you want lunch, we're having something cooked for you. That was the bartender. She was a blonde, blue-eyed girl. In other words, that she welcomed me from there. I go to Twin Peaks so that in Naperville back then. Guess what happens? Hi. Yeah. Indifference. That's how we call it. You go where you wanted. That's it, man, guys. You go where you wanted. That's what the thing. If you see people that discriminate you or racist, keep away from them. Because that if you see a Klan rally down the road or BLM rally, keep away from them. I don't want to be painted with them. Here's the thing, okay? Go with like-minded people, people who are like look what happened to that, okay? Like-minded people that do not get mixed up with extremists. Okay, you want to change the world? Change the world by increments. Okay, make them change. If you see as a minority, help them change their minds. Like, oh gosh, they're educated. Okay, guys, you present your own race. Remember that. Represent them with pride, and they will be represented with goodness.